batteries. Then evaluate whether the owner of Towne Cars should install the 5 battery chargers. Okay, this is part E. Evaluate whether the owner of Towne Car Park should install the 5 electric battery chargers. You should consider the financial and non-financial factors. So what are the financial factors? If we consider profit, liquidity ratios, profit, sales budget, loan, overdraft, um, the bank balance. Okay, all these are going to be called as financial factors to assess the business performance. But if we are going to consider factors like pollution, what is the demand for the product, what is the range of products a business is selling, and is there a theft and services, what products and services they are offering. So such things are called as non-financial. There are no numbers to this. It is qualitative than quantitative. So what are the points you will consider when installing the electric car chargers? So first he's saying you should consider both of them. So let's look at the profit, demand and pollution. So the car park does is making a profit for the year, as we saw, on the use made by the customers for charging this battery. It will also be answering, okay, any demand, because there is a demand for this battery, so it will also service that demand. And it is positive for the environment because it is going to help reduce the pollution, because less usage of fuel. This is a green energy. Okay, now this is, and also it is planning to extend the range of services offered by the car park. Okay, this is what, these are the things that's positive factors. That's good when the business is trying to install this electric charges. Now, but what is the disadvantages? The disadvantages, as we can see, is the profit made in the year is very small. Okay, how much is the profit made? The profit made is around 71,730. Okay, 71,730. So which is very small. Okay, he says it is very small. And the projections, and whatever projections you are estimating that there is a demand, whenever you are saying I will have this much of demand that's going to be generated, like assumptions of 80 percentage of the car park will be used. Okay, estimates like, for example 80 percentage will be used by 3 batteries. That's an assumption. So, these are estimates. It might not no happen also due to various reasons. Okay, and also it requires some maintenance, okay, and provision of the car park space. So there could be risk of this vandalism and theft of these batteries, okay, which it can increase. And also so you might have to install cameras. So example, why the cost goes up, probably you will have to install security cameras, okay, to take care of that, otherwise somebody might steal. And it requires a capital investments, right? So you have to invest sufficient amount to buy these 5 cars, okay, which we saw, like 5,000 times the installation cost for the 5 batteries which we had calculated. So it is equal to some value. The revenue is a estimate only, okay, but the total purchase is 29,500 cost. Okay, so example, so that is 20 example, it is 29,500 pounds. Okay, it requires this much pounds. So, and then the projections are only estimates. So whatever the projections you made for the revenue, like revenue we calculated it to be 45,000 pounds. So the revenue is also estimation. Example, revenue is an estimate here, because he still doesn't know, because he is assuming 3 of them will at least be occupied for 80% and the rest 2 might be occupied for 60%. So which might not be true. Okay, so these are the estimates you are considering. And if you include all these numbers, you will get more marks. For example, Here, the car park does make a profit in the year by the use. So here you can say it makes a profit of how much? So it makes a profit of around 71 730. Okay, so the profit is 71,730. So 71 730 pounds. Okay, why is he saying the profit is very small? Okay, the profit is going to be very small because his investments are going to be around 29,500, and he might recover, but he says that for other costs like maintenance, his expenses are high. So that's why he might say either you can just make a statement that this could be very small, and also there are projection estimates which can go wrong. So in conclusion, you should say the owner can still install and get profits, and there is a demand for this electric charging. So he will eventually make the profits, and he can also buy from that security cameras to protect the